What's up guys, Andrew aka the Gloctopus here with Gloctopus Reviews, and this week I'm bringing you a review on the Midwest Industries 3.5 pound flat drop-in single stage trigger for your AR-15s and 308 platforms. If you guys want to see more cool trigger reviews like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to my pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to get into this tabletop review of the Midwest Industries 3.5 pound flat AR trigger system, drop-in single stage trigger system. First things first guys, I'm going to go ahead and break down my Foxtrot Mike 11.5-inch pistol, get this lower off for you guys so you can check out what's going on with this trigger. But first and foremost guys, always when you're working with your weapons, make sure that there is no ammunition in the room that you're working on the weapon in, that the weapon is cleared and empty. We've got an empty mag here. We're going to go ahead and check the pistol, and we've got a clear pistol. So I'm going to go ahead and get this broken down for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right guys, now that we've gotten this broken down, what we have here is an Aero Precision M4E1 lower. It's just going to be a mil-spec lower that has the built-in trigger guard here on the bottom. On the back, we've got the Foxtrot Mike Products 1913 adapter with an SB Tactical folding brace with the aluminum strut here in the back. So, starting off guys, I love single stage drop-in trigger systems. I'm not really a fan of the mil-spec trigger systems. I just like to be able to get a clean, crisp break and a tactile feel when I'm using my triggers. It's just a personal preference. I know there's a lot of guys out there that love to run the single stage triggers or like to run the two-stage triggers. It just depends on your preference on how you like to shoot. But getting a little deeper into this trigger is a 3.5 pound trigger pull. We're going to get a little more into that. I'm going to set this up right now and do a slight test so we can get an average just to check that this is a truly 3.5 pound trigger pull on this trigger. So what I've got here is my trusty old bench block with my vise that I built for the last trigger review, and what we've got here is the Midwest Industries small parts tray and AR lower. It's a build tray. Really cool tray that they've come up with here guys. You can put your small parts on here, you can assemble your gas block. On this side you can assemble your lower, you can put all the parts here. Has cutouts for your bolt release and your magazine release. The cool thing about this block guys is you can actually put this into your vise on your workbench, and this slides up into the actual lower receiver and will lock with the magazine release. So you can take this and put this down into a workbench, and it's super nice that they built this option onto this small parts tray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted right here into my my vise on my workbench. And also we've got the Brownells trigger block. This trigger block is what I use to test the triggers in my builds without having the hammer strike the back of the actual frame here where the trigger sits in the lower receiver. And then also you keep it from hitting the bolt release or bolt hold open here. You don't want to break any of this stuff. This is a lot of force coming forward on this trigger hammer. So the way to alleviate that is with this trigger block from Brownells. This just slides right down into the receiver from the top. You press your magazine release and that sits right down in there. And all you have to do is pull the trigger, and it's going to hit this block right here on the side, and that keeps all the forces in that hammer from hitting your receiver and hitting your bolt hold open. Super cool little product from Brownells. So let's get this set up, guys. I'm going to put this onto my vise here on the workbench, and we'll get some trigger pulls. All right, guys, what I've got here is my Wheeler Engineering trigger pull. This tests the weight of your trigger pulls. It's a really cool device that you can grab from Amazon.com. I will put the link in description, link in bio, where you can hop on over to my Amazon page and pick one of these up if you're ever interested in testing out your trigger pull weights on your triggers that you have. Just a really cool tool to have in your arsenal of gun tools. What we've got here is the arm that pops out on the side, and we turn that on. What I'm going to do is a series of 8 trigger pulls with this tester, and we're going to get an average down here in the corner of what this trigger actually is. So after every pull, I have to hit enter, and this automatically does all the math for you. Because I hate maths, this is a super cool tool for you to have, or for me to have. So what we're going to do is go ahead and make sure that the hammer is reset all the way. Make sure this is on fire. We rest this right at the bottom of the trigger and get a quick pull. We'll hit enter, and then we'll reset the hammer. That's number 1. Number 2 is coming in at 3 pounds 12.8 ounces. 3 pounds 12.8 ounces. I didn't reset it. Let's reset it. 3 pounds 13 ounces. 2 pounds 14 ounces. 3 pounds 8 ounces. Right at 4 pounds even. 2.8. And 3.5. So right now my trigger pull calculator is giving me an average at 8 pulls of 3.4 ounces. So right under 3.5 pounds. It's awesome that this trigger is advertised at 3.5, and it is coming in just a hair under. I'm sure it's right at 3.5 pounds because I'm not getting consistent pulls with my trigger pull measuring device here. But yeah, that's really nice, guys. This is not a gross overstatement on their behalf that this trigger actually is right at about 3.5 pounds for the trigger pull. So it's really, really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get this put away and turned off, and we're gonna go a little bit more in depth on this trigger. We'll get this out of the way here. So going down the list, guys, this is, like I said, a 3.5 pound trigger system. Really, really nice. It's got a very, very smooth and crisp break. There is no take up here. So once you get pressure on the trigger there, it will fire as soon as you get that 3.5 pounds on the blade. It does make for more accurate shooting because you're not having to use so much effort on a trigger. This does fit the small pin size of 0.154. The reset is actually pretty fast on this trigger. See if we can show that here. Yep, not a very far reset at all. And then you're right back into pulling the trigger. The interior parts are made of S7 tool steel. They are covered with a black nitride finish for enhanced strength and corrosion resistance. The lightened hammer and trigger pull is again 3.5 pounds. There is a drop safety feature built into this trigger to where it will not go off if you drop it. It is self-contained into a cassette, so there's not having to install this with a slave pin or having to deal with messing with your disconnector or different parts putting this trigger in. It's just a simple install. The weight of this unit is 2.4 ounces. It is CNC machined from high-grade heat-treated tool steel, and the outside, like I said, is an aluminum cassette that is anodized in red. This trigger system will fit in most 223 AR style platforms and will also work in your 308s as well. If you're looking for anti-walk pins, you don't even need to grab those when you're grabbing this trigger because it comes with them in the box. That's a super cool option. All of these parts are made here in the USA. I know a lot of guys are very worried about where their parts come from, and a lot of people like buying stuff that is made right here in the States. So that is not a problem with this trigger, guys. Midwest Industries is located right here in the USA, and their parts are made right here as well. These triggers do come with a limited lifetime guarantee. You can go over to the Midwest Industries website and check that out for the details, but it is awesome that they do give you a lifetime warranty on these triggers. I do have to give you a note, guys, that there is a center, let me get this hammer up, there is a set screw. Let's see if we can get that right on film. There you go, right behind the hammer here on the inside of the trigger. Don't mess with that, guys. If you do end up buying this trigger, that is an adjustment, but that's an adjustment by the guys over at the factory. If you end up messing with that set screw there in the middle, it is going to void your warranty. So don't do anything trying to modify this trigger. If you're having trouble or issues with this, go ahead and send it over. Give the guys a call over at Midwest Industries. They're super responsive. They'll get you taken care of, and I'm sure you won't have any issues getting a replacement trigger if, in fact, you do have some issues from the factory. Like I said, guys, this is a really, really nice trigger. This is the first Midwest Industries trigger that I've owned or put into a build, but it is a solid trigger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all of this packed up, and I'm going to get some footage up on the screen of shooting this trigger at the Gundy Awards a couple weekends ago. Just ringing some steel at about 75 out to 100 yards, closer into 25 yards as well. It's really, really nice trigger for follow-up shots, getting repeated follow-up shots really quick. You'll see that in the video. So we'll get this packed up and let you guys watch that, and then I'll get you my solid rating and review of the Midwest Industries flat blade trigger. All right, guys, welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my solid rating and review on this Midwest 3.5 pound flat trigger. My rating is gonna be a 7 out of 8 Glocktopus arms. It's a very nice trigger. The S7 tool steel that they make this trigger out of and the black nitride finishing that they use to make it durable is super awesome. The red anodized cassette housing is also stout. The lifetime warranty that Midwest Industries gives you with their triggers is also awesome, guys. If you're looking for a trigger that you can just pop out of the box and drop into your AR-15 builds without having to do a lot of adjustments or anything else, this is gonna be a trigger for you. Not very expensive. These triggers are usually on the cheaper side. Just a very, very stout and nice trigger for the price, guys. If you're looking where to pick one of these up, go ahead and click the link in description or link in bio. That's gonna take you over to glocktopusreviews.com or my link tree. Once you're there, you can scroll down to the Brownells tab and click that. That's gonna take you over to brownells.com. That'll get you into their search tab. You can search all the Midwest Industry stuff that they've got on sale. They've got those AR-15 build wrenches. They've got the small parts tray that they just came out with. And of course, they've got the 3.5 pound flat triggers that you saw today in the review. If you guys like these videos, go ahead and give them a thumbs up on Instagram and YouTube. That'll help me get my video out to more people with the algorithm. If you guys have any questions or concerns about what you've seen in the video today, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you guys want to watch more reviews like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to my pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On Instagram and YouTube, make sure you're clicking the notification icon. That's going to be the bell icon up in the corner. That'll get all of my newest content over to you as quick as possible. As always, guys, stay healthy, stay safe. Check you guys later.